Good day, emaSwati Lamahle. Once again, we're doing our little weekly update on the Finance in Focus, just to give everyone an update. And today's a few little issues, just because there's a few moving parts, just to let you know on a few fronts what's happening at the Ministry of Finance. And so the first one is the fact that as a Ministry of Finance, it's a time of the year now where we take the budget to the people. So it's the beginning of the budget process in our country, and it's a heck of a process that we go through to get the budget finalized. But we did promise, a lot of the requests at Sibaya was that we try and get more input from the people. So we are still busy with that. And so last year, we did more high-level meetings just to sensitize everyone. This year, we're going a bit deeper. And so this year, the teams are actually going out to the regions to go meet with the Botopo, with the community development teams, as well as with the Tinduna of each region. The RAs in the region will be putting the meetings together, and I think the meetings are starting in Manzini will be on the 10th of September, already this meeting. In Shiselweni it will be on the 11th of September. In Hoho it will be on the 12th of September, and in Lubombo it will be on the 17th. And so these meetings is really, the first 2 years, and this is now the second year, is heavy on sensitization, just to make sure everybody, before we can start giving input, everyone has a deep understanding of how the budget is formulated. And the very important things, make sure we get into the budget. And so obviously people can give input, and even as we speak, if anybody wants to give input into the next year's budget, we have our email address, which is finance@gov.sz. You'll find that even on our webpage, and often even where these things are posted, you'll find that email address there. If you've got any input you'd like to give us as a Ministry of Finance on what you recommend to be in the budget, please, you're very welcome to send an email to us. We do take information. But really getting budget from the people process is ongoing, and I'm very impressed with our team here at Finance and just making sure we continue to push through and have these meetings. So that'll be ongoing, and really hope as the years go by, our budget will be more and more reflective of the real needs of the emaSwati people. Something else that's ongoing is at the moment, I'll be flying out later this week to Addis Ababa, where we are having ESAAMLG. Now, ESAAMLG is Anti-Money Laundering and Financing of Terrorism of Eastern and Southern Africa region. And so that's a grouping of countries that gets together to rate ourselves, so that by the time the world rating that comes from FATF looks at us, we've done our ratings and we don't have to get blacklisted for any kind of money laundering or financing of terrorism. And so that's been going on. Eswatini didn't do too well in our previous assessment. In fact, one has to have 20 out of 40 of the things that they look at, you need to qualify for to be able to not get grey listed. Eswatini unfortunately only got 14, so we were actually in a bit of trouble, and we needed to do some changes. Fortunately, we managed to get a whole lot of legislation passed. Parliament, everyone was great. His Majesty really helped to make sure that we actually did this. We had what we call a whole lot of legislation, all with different legislative bits go through, and a lot of changes were made. And then we asked for a re-rating. So and unfortunately, even though I think we had 19 of these issues we felt we could qualify for, but you can only do 15 at a time. We did 15. It's been going very well, actually. The teams are currently, the finance teams and the teams from all the different departments that work on this are currently in Addis having the official meetings, and things are going well. It looks like at least 14, if not 15 of them will be qualified, but I'll be going there for the big main meeting on Friday where the ministers get together and give the formal approval. So if emaSwati can be praying for us that things go well there. We believe we're doing the right thing and moving in the right direction. Other hot news is, I suppose, and I'm worried that it creates fear in Eswatini, is there's been a motion in America to sanction South Africa for things that they've done, which America feels aggrieved about. And obviously if South Africa gets sanctioned, it can have quite big consequences on Eswatini. And so just to let everyone understand, number one, the request for sanction is a motion in the House. These motions do take a long time. It does need all the approvals through the different houses in America. But if it does go through, even the kind of sanctions being recommended, it seems like it's more targeted sanctions, which means it's like on individuals and things like that. My personal view would be that it probably won't be like, for instance, a sanction on Russia where they cancel the SWIFT system of financing. But I'm not going to say I know too much about it, but that would be a very harsh sanction on South Africa, and that would have consequences on us as a country. But our view is, and that is that number one, it's still far off. Number two, it would be an extremely harsh sanction to do something like that on. And as a country, we need to understand, as much as our economies are very closely linked, we do need to keep in mind that Eswatini does have a counter-cyclical relationship with South Africa's growth. So normally when South Africa's growth is down, our growth is higher. And normally when South Africa's growth is higher, our growth is down. Because South Africa's economy has got an economic vortex element to it. So when the economy is doing well, it kind of sucks in a lot of the cash, a lot of the production elements into South Africa. But at the same time, when that slows down, you find that countries around South Africa do normally get better growth. Even though we want South Africa to grow because we've got so many links with them, markets with them, SACO with them, at the same time, there is that counter-cyclical side that when, in fact, our biggest growth in Eswatini was pre-94 in South Africa, when those sanctions were taking place there, it was when our growth in Eswatini was the highest. So one does understand that even if issues do come, it doesn't necessarily mean doom and gloom for us as emaSwati. And so just that we understand those elements, and I would really say there's still nothing to fear in Eswatini around this. We'll handle it as it comes. Obviously, as a country, if anything goes on there, we'll see what we do as a country to do any counter measures if we need to in relation to these. But ultimately, we obviously just hope and pray that nothing happens to South Africa, because they are our neighbours and we've got a lovely close relationship with them. And so, emaSwati, thank you. I think that's more or less the update for the week, and we'll see you again next week. Thank you.